and welcome to a very, very special edition of Let's Talk Money. I'm your host, Surabhi Upadhyay. You can see I have a full house with me here in person in the studios, and I'll tell you why. We are celebrating. We are celebrating the 100th episode of Let's Talk Money. Yes, we've turned 100 episodes younger, and I want to start by thanking all of our viewers for constantly being with us in this journey, giving us your feedback, your opinion, telling us what you want to hear about, and all the comments that you give us on social media as well. It's been a very, very humbling journey for me personally. And I also want to thank a lot of the Let's Talk Money friends over the years who've taught me so much on personal finance, have helped me become a better professional, and only helped increase my passion for financial wellness and financial independence, because I truly believe everything starts from there. So this is a special episode. We have a full celebration. It's a 1-hour episode, by the way, which we'll play over this week and the next. So you already know them. You've met them so many times on the show. But let me quickly introduce once again Feroze Aziz of Anand Rathi Wealth. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on what is a very, very special episode for us here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much, DP sir, Bala sir, and of course, Feroze. I remember conversations with all of you in our old studios, in our old office back then, where we had a very different set. And that's when the personal finance conversations really started for me. And, you know, I realized that it's really about that, right? You have to get your basics right, your wealth, your math, your money management right to build anything forward in life, right? So I just want to start with opening thoughts on your association and journey with us. Of course, SBI Mutual Fund has been a sponsor of the show in the past as well. So very, very thank you. We're very, very thankful for the partnership. But speaking of asking questions, we've asked Feroze Aziz plenty of tough questions over the last, I think, 15 odd years, Feroze, right?
Yes.
Telling Feroze late in the night, no, Feroze, can you please give us an example? Can you make it simpler? How does this particular product compare with that product? So Feroze, thanks to you, I think we've all become so much wiser over the years. So big thank you.
Thank you, Surabhi. I think you're doing a big service, and I'll substantiate it with some data of why you're doing so much service. Because see, personal finance is a foundation for everyone.
Yeah.
See, somebody could be a direct equity guy. You don't probably, not everybody needs some direct equity gyan. But even the direct equity client or an investor who has nothing to do with mutual funds needs a home loan maybe, right? So personal finance is the bunyad on which everything stands, right?
Yeah.
So, and creating a foundation on that, I think, is a big service to the nation. Now, let me give you some data of why I think personal finance and journalism has had a large role to play, apart from the asset management companies creating a huge education drive using the investor education budgets and stuff. Today also, if the markets are falling, I was looking at the small cap inflow data after the war has broken out.
Yeah.
There's not one day of negative flow in those 36, 37 funds, small cap funds.
That's astounding data.
Astounding. 3,700
This is over the last 3 weeks of this Iran-US conflict.
Can you believe it? Wow. Every single day there is a purchase.
So
as an aggregate small cap.
Yeah.
Because they are getting 300 crores, 200 crores a day, but we have 1,200 lakh crores of household savings. It's not like there's like Mavericks buying small caps during a war. They're buying some tiny portions in the form of systematic investment plan. That won't be possible. 10 years back, it would be dramatically different. So I personally think all the education you've done has created a lot of sensible investing.
But now I also want to talk about the things we've still not learned. 15 years and counting. And this, Feroze, I want to start with, I'll never forget that January 26th moment when, after gold prices having surged 65, 70%, silver prices having surged 150% last 1 year, investors chose to pour in more than 30,000 crores in gold and silver and less than that in equities. And that really raised an existential question in front of me, ki hum kar kya rahe? You know, all this while we're talking about asset allocation, not chasing returns. Public is still chasing returns.
Yes, Surabhi, public is surely chasing returns, like you said, right? That has a name called recency bias. You are governed by what happens in the last 6-8 months when you take decisions. That's very difficult to let go. Your heart overpowers your mind. Now, I did one study. Okay. I'm yet to complete that study. I put all the inflows for the last 24 months in gold ETF.
Okay.
Let's assume all the money came from one person.
Okay.
And what's the profit or loss he would have made? I wanted to see.
Okay.
You know, gold has actually gone up 40%, 45% for the last 1.8 years.
All right.
In terms of price. But mutual fund ETF investor is marginally negative. Why?
How is that possible?
Because when they put 200 crores, the first installment, let's assume April 2024, ETF inflow was 200 crores. Let's say, I'll tell you the precise numbers. That 200 crores has made 100 crores of profit. But when it was going up, you had very small amounts where you were making money.
Okay.
When it came down, you had 20,000 crores in January. So that has lost 4,000-5,000 crores already.
The
When
size
you were
was
going
bigger.
up, you were making money on 200 crores, 100 crores. जब गिर रहे हो, तो आप 20,000 crore पे loss बना रहे हो.
Yeah.
So if all this money belonged to a person, he's not made any money in gold. And
But that's
the
true for
reality.
any asset class, right? You start small with equities, your incremental gain will always be small. Eventually, after 20 years, you have a large AUM, and then when there is a 10% hit on your AUM, so it'll hurt, right? That's true for all asset classes.
No, it's true for all asset classes. Now we're speaking about investor behavior.
Chasing return.
Investor behavior chasing return. But there's still a silver lining in the dark cloud. Now let me give you a study. SIPs, जो सबसे ज़्यादा परेशान करते हैं ना first 1 year में, the SIPs, those are the ones which make maximum money. I looked at SIPs which made, in the first year, made less than 20% return. See, let's assume Surabhi starts an SIP as a new investor.
Okay.
And 1 year later, she sees minus 20% on an SIP.
Wow.
You will be very dejected. You will be so tempted. DP sir, मेरी SIP बंद कर दो. You'll be tempted or not?
I'm mature now. I'll say थोड़ा और wait
No,
करते
no,
हैं,
not Surabhi. It's a very, very wrong proxy of what normal
joking.
investor behavior is. Now, those are the guys, let's assume less than 20%. 8% of the times, if you started an SIP, 8% of the times you would be losing more than 20% in the first 1 year. If they continued the SIP for the subsequent 4 years, they would again make 13%. So there are 14% of the times you made between minus 0 and minus 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you could hold that one bad year, the subsequent 4 years would have brought you back to 15% compounded return for the full 5-year period. So whatever looks painful in the 1 year,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that your next 4 years will not make up for it.
Sure,
And
sure,
people
sure.
are not stopping those SIPs in
Yeah.
spite of being new investors. And don't lose hope. You've done a great job is why there's so much happening.
No, I mean, I completely take that point, and it's heartening to know that even as people were investing in gold and silver, but the SIP number was still rock steady during these last couple of months as well. Feroz, very quickly, you want to wrap up the mistakes. I think you came up with almost like 7 sins, right, that people commit while investing. So you want to wrap this up, the mistakes that people need to really guard against.
Trying to compress it,
Yeah.
I'll just tell you. One is don't buy complex instruments. We analyzed 1,200 PMS portfolios of clients who have bought and sold. And we saw that whole PMS portfolio of 1,200 families worth almost 7,500 crores. And we saw 92% of them underperformed the Anand Rathi model portfolio of mutual funds. So all this tamjham of tax and cost and all that, minimum ticket size of 50 lakhs, if that for an ultra HNI resulted in underperformance to mutual fund on a pre-tax basis, don't do complex. I don't have one PMS in my portfolio, right? That's one thing. Second, asset allocation has to be on total assets.
Okay.
I met a gentleman, he says, यार ये मेरे financial assets हैं 7 करोड़ के, बाकी छोड़ दे. मैंने कहा एसेट एलोकेशन है तो पूरे 22 करोड़ लिखो ना, प्रॉपर्टी भी लिखो, गोल्ड भी लिखो, हैंड लोन भी लिखो, पीपीएफ लिखो, ईपीएफ लिखो,
Sure.
and then you do asset allocation.
Yeah,
How can you do asset allocation only on equity and debt? Right? Total asset allocation is the only way to do asset allocation.
Sure.
And the last one, don't have different yardsticks.
Okay.
Physical asset, 20-20 साल, कोई problem नहीं, and that too compounded return कोई calculate नहीं करता. Right? So please, if you have the same yardstick for financial assets, and physical assets. Just do that. Compounded return, CAGRs have to be calculated both for gold and physical assets if that's the barometer for FDs and mutual funds.